Mark's been on Mars for around about a month now, which, well, now that I think about it, just so happens to be exactly how long we've been making these videos for. Huh. I think the spheres might be merging. Perhaps the conjoining is upon us. Or I've forgotten to take my meds again. Yeah, honestly 50-50 shot either way. That's right, everyone's least favorite Martian has 99 problems today. Unfortunately, a storm is one of them. That yellow light right over there does indicate that within the next 24 hours we will have a storm! And unfortunately, we are not prepared. Our solar panels will take damage. We have not built a nice little shelter for them, like every single person in the comment section has been repeatedly telling me to do. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I showed a lot of you how to do that. So thank you for reminding me of what I know. Anyway, we'll get to it. I promise. It is so not a priority right now. What is a priority, though, is going to be getting our greenhouse up and running again, because right now it is more of a green shell, and I would like it to be, well, you know, a green home, maybe. The second floor will become our hydroponic station, and the first floor will become our living quarters. So I need to prepare some materials before the storm hits so that we can work on that while the storm is raging. To that effect, I have printed a couple of plastic sheets, as you can see over here. In fact, that should give us 38, which I think will be just enough. We can use these walls and glass panels that we have left over from a previous life to build up the interior floor a little bit. Let's get ourselves some like interior doors as well. Now you may see the electronics printer is currently working, and it is making us some tall wind turbines. It's going to cost us a lot of steel, basically all the steel we have left in that machine, to make 8 of them. So you can make me some interior doors. Let's make a pair of those. I want you to make me a volume pump for this. And then honestly, there's a bunch of other little bits and pieces we're going to need, and I will cover all of that once we're inside. Let me focus on what I'm doing here, and I'll see you all once we're in there. Ow. Oh, I completely forgot that had happened. Okay, whoopsie. Okay, so let's go upstairs here real quick, because the sun is almost setting, and I don't know when that storm's gonna hit, but I don't know. I only noticed it in the morning, which means it'll likely hit by the time the next morning comes, or maybe in the evening, I'm not sure. Either way, it's on its way soon, and we need to be done with it. Lovely! We've got ourselves a whole array of wind turbines. Now, right now, Mars's atmosphere is so pathetically thin that they're basically not doing anything for us, but that's okay. It'll all work out in a moment, I'm sure. Alright, some geometric walls. I'm a big fan of these. I think they add some cool two-tone colors to the game. Now, as previously mentioned and apologized for in the previous episode, this gas return line is not working. There now needs to be a serious pressure differential between the unfiltered output of an atmospheric filtration unit and the input, meaning that if these two have the same pressure, which they do right now because of this pipe, it will not work. It does not work. It is not working right now. We can fix that very easily by use of a turbo pump and a holding tank to basically just store the gas from the output on one side and then pump it back into the input. Pretty straightforward, nothing too fancy, but it is going to take a lot of power, so we might need to expand things up here first, but maybe we got to build the tank first. I don't know. A lot of things to consider and not a lot of time to do it in. And I think we might have the storm hit before we can get this done, but I need to get this done, so let's get this done. All right, so I'm going to put this over here. That's going to be an extra, just literally just a tank to make sure we've got enough volume so we don't blow anything up. Oh, and there it is. There's our storm. Okay, I need to quickly just head upstairs to make sure that nothing's being blown out of my airlock because of the direction the storm is flowing. It should be okay as they're in a room, quote unquote. It is. I'm just going to cycle the airlock interior anyway so that we don't have any issues with that. I don't want to just in case the room system glitches for a second and it all just flies out. Okay, let me wire this all up and then I'll explain what I'm doing.
12 o'clock midnight.
Okay, lovely. So that's all connected up now. Now, you can't really see much, I do appreciate, but I can explain to you at least what's going on. So previously, of course, as you saw, we had the unfiltered line going straight back into the input. We've now got them as two separate pipe networks, right? So this is its own contained thing, where you can see the pressure is increasing as these filters pull stuff out of the input line. They're dumping everything they don't want into this line and sending it to the various tanks. Now, the bottom rung over here contains the input pipe, and you can see the pressure is decreasing. Now, what's going to happen is that these will eventually reach some kind of equilibrium. They'll sort of balance out, I think in this case, around about 6 megapascals. That's where we're sort of going to hit a stopping point. But that's not really ideal, because then we have the same problem where it's just not working. So what we need to do is actually actively pump the gas back through so that we can make sure that we've always got more pressure in the input line than the output line. So let's do this. Ideally, we want the pressure in the output line to be basically 0. And we want the input pressure to be as high as possible. You want that pressure differential as high as you can conceivably get it. So the return lines for all these waste inputs come over here, and they connect up to this big old tank, which feeds into the back end of this pump. We then have the pump running, and we can pay quick attention to these pipes to see how much speed we need. We don't need to be running this thing on full blast all the time, and while that is really moving at the moment, we can tune this down a little bit. Maybe just go 30 liters. It's still decreasing. That's good. We honestly, we don't need it to be fast. We just need it to always be faster than the machines. So at 20 liters, it is not fast enough. Let's hold C and go up by like 4 liters. We are decreasing in pressure. Okay. Now, the reason I'm not just running it at full tilt, because I mean, that's certainly an option, is because it uses a lot of power. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's about 10 watts per liter. So this is 240 watts of power right now, I think. But I mean, that's also at 2.4, it's at 24 liters, that's 2.4 volume pumps. So the turbo pump's awesome. You can go all the way up to 100 liters, and then it's going to absolutely obliterate the pressure in there. But it uses like a megawatt of power. So let's go to, what was it, 24? Seemed good. I'll go 25 just for safety, so that we're always decreasing the pressure in this pipe. Oh, and it is actually currently increasing. That's a good thing. That means that our filters are keeping up. Let's go to 27. And of course, this is happening as these machines account for the increased pressure. Like they're speeding up their filtering as well. So we are going to need to get a PID working on this, which is a, oh man, proportional integral derivative function. Man, they're quite complicated, and I've had them explained to me about 6 times, and I still need to go back and look at the documentation, which is a series of YouTube comments again. So we will tackle. That is a beast we will tackle, but for now, we could just let it run manually. It's not that much of a crisis. We will be okay, I promise. We'll all make it out of here together. Please stop leaving Type A commentary on these videos. Oh no, my hunger. Also, there was a couple of great suggestions to change the color of our battery readout, depending on whether or not it's negative or positive. I love that idea. So we'll be doing just that. I've not experimented with changing the screen colors, so that would be fun to do. Let's get some stairs going up, and then let's put down some pitfalls. Oh, and there is day 32. Beautiful. Now, before we actually do our interior redesign for day 32, what I want to focus on first is actually getting the atmospherics in here functional. Now, as I mentioned before, we have changed the system down there so that we're filtering more quickly again. That's very important. But we also don't need this pressure regulator. This one is completely redundant because the gas mixer could just set the pressure in this room for us. So I've actually gone ahead and adjusted that already. Gas mixer code has been changed. Previously, it did this silly check function where it was checking whether or not the pressure was at like 1,000, and then also checking if the temperature was at 25, and then turning the gas mixer on if either of those things was true. But this was a bit silly because it kind of ended up in an infinite loop. Because what would happen is it would turn itself off when the pressure was right, that worked correctly, but it kept turning itself back on when for the temperature, and I couldn't quite get why, and then I looked at it and it made so much sense. What's happening is that the gas heaters are turning on when the line drops below 25 Celsius, right? That's pretty clear. However, the gas heaters aren't perfect. They don't stop at exactly 25. They sort of take it up to like 25.05. And then what happens is that the gas mixer sees that it's, above 25 and turns on to let more pressure in, which that means, drops the temperature, and then the gas heaters turn on, and then the gas mixer turns on, and then the heaters turn on, and the pipe was just sort of getting increasingly pressurized, even though I didn't want it to. So removing that silly condition has fixed it, and now Oh, in fact, I changed the condition so that it now specifically turns the gas mixer on to bring this room up to 101 kilopascals, which is sort of the final pressure we want this greenhouse to be at anyway. So that's pretty dang sweet. Plus, saves us one component. You know, we don't need to run the pressure regulator now. So also good. So we should now just be able to place this on here. There will be a big whoosh of pressure as everything that was in this pipe, it was about a megapascal, flows out. But there you go, it should now equalize. Lovely, and the gas mixture should turn on and continue to pump gas in here until it gets to the right temperature. Now, of course, that's not a final solution. We do have a bunch of other stuff that needs to be done, specifically cooling. Right now, we heat this room, but we don't cool it, and for that, we're going to need to use some atmospherics, but that can wait a second, because I need to get my potatoes growing again. So let's put down some walls and make this all look nice and pretty. And I think I'm going to have alternating windows as skylights. Okay, looks like we are going to still need a handful more plastic sheets to finish that off. That's fine. Rather have too few than too many. And we need to connect up our hydroponics. So let's grab all of our trays and get them wired in. Okay, lovely. We now have a liquid tank to store all of our stuff, uninsulated on purpose, as well as a bunch of pipes for the rest of our connections. In fact, I'm going to add 2 more right in here because I have something cool to show you, but we'll get to that in a second. Now, we need to pick up the existing pipe in a very specific order. We want to make sure we don't leave any segments of pipe isolated, because what will happen is if you, for example, break this one off, you'll see there's now some water inside this network and inside this network. If I pick up this pipe right now, it will destroy that water, and I don't want to do that. So we want to make sure that we are picking them up in a very specific order to kind of push the water back up to where we want it. So let's connect to our existing network, so we've got some way to force it, and so we can get it off this ground floor. So I'm going to just link it up over here, and we should be able to then pick up all these pieces. Voila! And all the water that was in that network, which I think was about 6 or 7 liters, should now be in here. Yes, perfect. Okay, and actually it is going to be decreasing because a bunch of it will evaporate in order to pressurize the pipes. It'll reach equilibrium around like 17 kPa. Easy solution there, of course, is just to put more water in, and then less of it has to evaporate to keep pressure. What next? I want to put in some water utility slots, these ones here. These are actually going to connect to our existing network, and they are going to store 2 water canisters that I printed up, these ones right here. Now, you may be asking, why in the hell do I want liquid water canisters? And that is because Mark has remembered a spicy new feature of his suit, which is the ability, one second, if I could pick up my suit, there we go, which is the ability of his suit to sip water. If I grab this and I put it in there, there are 9 milliliters of delicious liquid we can drink. If I put this on, you'll see that Mark will drink, or rather he would if there was enough water. Now, we don't have enough water to actually make any use of this, so we do need to increase that somewhat. I think we might need some liquid pressure valves to pump some in there. So I'm actually going to move these up. Maybe like a volume pump or something, just to kind of, I don't know, because that 9 milliliters ain't going to cut it, boss. I don't know what to tell you. We need to do our oxygen return line, right? Obviously, we need to have our oxygen in a place that we can actually use it, which would be great. We have 50 megapascals of O2 just chilling down there. Let's actually let that out. Here we go, into the space. And that'll do a lot of the pressurization for us. And again, we can pick it up, just got to make sure that we pick it up in the correct order. So all of it ends up coming out of that pipe. Okay, lovely. I am going to leave this one in place so that we can continue to refill our O2 tanks. We got some interior doors we can put down. Sure, we'll do that. Let's do that here. We'll have a nice little glass door there as like a cubby hole. We'll have another one there as another cubby hole. I need to go outside and fix my solar panels before the next sunrise because they are not going to be producing any power right now. And I need to grab my geometric walls. There they are. All right, so let's do a little bit of base design. Yeah, let's have the doors there and there, right? And then we'll have geometric walls facing them. Okay, cool. So this is going to be our little walkway space, just like this. Obviously, our O2 system needs to move, but I can't do that right now. We need to head outside and run an O2 return line to make that possible. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. Okay, so the space is going to be actively pressurized. We can start building out our planned little kitchenette. God, sorry, I know it's such a mess in here. I'm really sorry. I'm working on it, I promise. Let's put down a kitchen counter. There we go, bench counter style. I'm a fan of this one. And I think we'll put our little kitchenette right in the corner, and we'll have a fridge over here. And then, I don't know, we'll have a little table and chairs on that side. We can put our microwave down over here and wrench it so that it becomes part of this table. Lovely. And then we need to connect up power, of course. Okay, and until such time as we actually get these canisters filling up correctly, we can put down our water bottle filler again. Always good to have a bit of redundancy. Okay, lovely. So that connects that up. I should be able to then build that wall. Yeah, and that's what it'll look like. Now, obviously, we'll need walls on both sides so that we can complete the aesthetic. Building interiors in this game is quite expensive. You literally have to double everything, but this is a very good start. So that would be what the kitchen looks like. And we need a floor on it, but that's a good start. We could even put a pipe meter right over there so we can see our water at a glance. Oh, look at this little kitchenette. Oh, beautiful. Okay, potatoes back in. And we need 9 more hydroponic sprays. Okay, let's take this pressure regulator with us. Let's go back outside and let's get some work done. Ah, beautiful. Panels fixed just in time for day 33. I am both incredibly happy and incredibly sad to see that green light because, yes, 1, we don't have any more storms I need to worry about, but 2, power is looking a little low, and that was mostly because yesterday's solar was kind of diminished by about 50% because all our panels were busted, but still, you know, it would have been good if there was a bit more juice floating around. Nothing to be done about it right now, except to go and continue our labors. Specifically, we want to make sure that we have O2 coming back up into this room. Without oxygen, we die. All right, and I think what we'll do is I'll have like a waste tank canister here that is going to be designed to suck waste gas out as soon as we put a canister in it. We can empty out our waste tanks directly into our filtration line. And then I'll have an O2 tank sort of refill station right here. We could do the whole suit station thing, but I just find them such a pain to actually deal with. Okay, then I would like to get some of these tanks installed here. I want like an O2 safety buffer over here, just in case I accidentally over or under pressurize this. There we go. That'll just give us a little bit more room. Okay, so then this will connect up to an O2 tank canister storage thingy. And then this needs to go down to the actual O2 line, which is all the way over there. Oh my god, I'm going to have like exactly enough. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so we have an O2 return line connecting up to this, and we can now use that to start pressurizing this canister. As soon as we gave it power, anyway. Then we could use it to pressurize the canister. So let's go up to 9,500 kilopascals for the moment. We will eventually go a little bit higher because we can get better tanks, but for now, that's the tank we've got. And you dance with the one that brought you. That's just good etiquette. And that's the O2 line set up. Now, we need to take a look back downstairs to see what's going on with our actual filtration. Has it bottomed out? Nope, we've got a gorgeous pressure differential moving between the two. Lovely. Okay, yep, we got pollutant collecting in here. That's exactly what I want to see. That's going to start evaporating. Slowly over time, we'll build up a nice supply of that. We've got quite a bit of nitrogen. We've got 50 megapascals of O2 and no oxygen, which is not surprising as we are still actively trying to pressurize our greenhouse. Okay, cool. Okay, what do I need to do now before I go mining? Because I do need to do a big mining hole, but I'm beginning to think that we probably want to get atmospherics done before we do anything else, like air conditioning, sorry. Okay, so let's come down here, and we need to place down the frames first. Why do we need frames? Well, our atmospheric system needs to be built on them, as do these larger radiators. So this is the air conditioner. This is going to control the temperature of whatever gas we tell it to. So let's get this thing built up. There we go. And we're going to say, yeah, I want you to work towards being 25 Celsius in that room. And then before we do anything else, let's also adjust this so that our heaters bring it up to like 23. Otherwise, again, because of that sort of like decimal rounding error, we're going to end up in like an infinite loop. Okay, so this is what the temperature we want the room to be. And I'm going to set that on R4. And then I'm going to say, I want my desired temperature. So we're going to just grab desired temp. And anytime it said 25, we're going to make it desired temperature. Okay, lovely. Confirm, export. And now we have one variable we need to adjust instead of 20. So let's put down some radiators so we can control this. Also, we'll put down the grids in a second. So there's two kinds of radiators in Stationeers, at least at this scale. You have the convection radiators, and you have the radiator radiators. Now, you can think of these kind of like these ones are the radiators on the ISS. They work really well in a vacuum, and even though Mars is basically a vacuum, there is a little bit of air. And these will get you in Martian atmosphere, these will get you within about 100 degrees Celsius of where you want to be. So they're quite good for like stepping down the heat from a furnace output, for example. But they're not particularly great in Mars anyway for getting you down to like these sort of temperatures, 25 or so. So instead, we're going to use the convection radiator. And this is exactly like the radiator behind your fridge in your house. What this does is it takes temperature and it sort of takes a gas, runs it through some fins that run along it, which we can attach by welding in a single steel sheet, I believe. That is not a steel sheet. That is a steel sheet. There we go. And just like your fridge radiator, it will share the temperature in the pipe with whatever's around. Now, we can increase the efficiency of these by, pressurizing the room they're in, but for now, this will work. Okay, so our input and our output are going to be the same line. We are going to cool the stuff we take in and then send it back. And we can add a one-way valve to try and change the speed on this, but honestly, I'm so lazy, this will work. It'll be fine. All right, lovely. So we've got everything connected, but unfortunately, we haven't connected up to the radiators, so that's not actually going to do anything just yet. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. We can, however, connect up power in the meantime, and then I guess I'm going to have to go mining because I'm just out of everything. Okay, so we can now turn this thing on, but if I say start, it's got nowhere to send that waste pipe. So if I chuck this down there and we spray paint it, and honestly, TBH, we don't need to insulate this. I don't know why I'm bothering with that. This can just be done with regular pipes, right? Because we want it to exchange heat with the atmosphere. So rare occasion where regular pipes kind of great for this. Let's just use those. Okay, lovely. There we go. We've got a nice simple setup over here. And now we need to figure out what we're going to do with it. So we've got all these radiators wired in. We've got all these pipes connected to our air conditioner. If I drop down here, and in fact, you know what? Let's put down our grating so that walking becomes easier. Any one of these days, it'll go down. I believe in it. There it is. Ah, there we go. Lovely. Just makes it that much easier to walk around on here. If I were to hit start, you'll see that, well, you'd hope that the temperature in this pipe would start dropping, but nothing. And the reason for that is simple. There is nothing in this output network for the air conditioner to heat up, because that's all it does. It takes heat from here, does a bunch of wizardry to it, and then pushes that heat into this pipe, and then these radiators will let that heat into Mars. So technically, we do heat up Mars every single time we run the air conditioner, but I think Mars can handle it. It's a big boy. So how are we going to actually put gas in there? Well, to do that, we need another pipe utility kit. In fact, we'll need a pair of them, because we're going to pressurize that tank using the nitrogen that we found earlier, or rather the nitrogen that we gathered earlier. I guess we did technically find it, but well, it's not really the sentence I meant to say. It's just the one that my very tired brain gave me. I absolutely love the rumble of the turbo pump. I just think it sounds so cool. Anyway, we are now actually going to need to do a little bit more work. Let's take a quick look at where our... Oh, where is it? Where our pressure valve is. We're at 12.24 megapascals. That's excellent. So we are actually processing. And we've got a bunch of extra CO2. We're pressurizing our nitrogen really nicely. We're pressurizing that. Okay, beautiful. I do want to check. I just want to make sure that we are grabbing enough nitrogen. Because if I remember correctly, we might be stopping it a little too early here. What is it set to? It's set to 3,000. Now, I want 15. Honestly, give me like 40. Give me like 45 megapascals of pressure for the nitrogen. It takes so much to actually liquefy it that I think we can get away with that high of a gain. Okay, so to do this, we are going to need you, and you are going to need to become a black pipe, and then we turn it. Okay, lovely. And then we need to put down some pressure regulators here. Okay, so that pressure regulator is going to go there. And the nitrogen utility kit, it might actually just fit right in here. It does! Lovely. Okay, and I'm going to have to steal a couple more pipes here. We're not really doing anything with this one, and we're not really doing anything with these ones. So I'm just going to steal their pipes real quick, don't mind me. So that we can get this thing functioning. We say we want this to be like 9,500. Now, we need to get a canister for that, but that's okay. It can wait a moment. Okay, and then we're going to place down this volume pump right over here. This volume pump's purpose is going to be to take whatever we feed into the back of it and pump it into our cooling network. And you need to make me a couple canisters. Okay, there we go. Gas canister is going to start getting pressurized. This one will just live over here. It's going to be whatever gas we want to put into this system. Okay, so now we've got a way to bring gas in, put it through this pump, and pump it into this network. And now we just need to wire everything up so that it actually, does that. All right, lovely. So, hypothetically, this should work. I should be able to turn this thing on, and it will pump out whatever's in here. So if I grab this, we swap that over for the moment, and we want to chuck this in here. You should start pumping gas out of there and placing it into this pipe network. Yes, dude, yes! Which means I can now turn this on. You're set to 25°C, that's totally fine. And we should start seeing the temperature in here decrease, which we are seeing. Incredible. Never mind, it's going up. And the reason that is happening, is because we just don't have enough gas. Okay, so you've been emptied out. Let's try this again. How much have you got it? You're 1.4 megapascals. It's slow, but it'll get there. Okay, it heated up quite a bit in the daytime, but if we turn this on again, temperature's coming down real quick now. Lovely. But it is also worth remembering that because we are only actually cooling the single tile where this passive vent interacts with the room, like right here, we don't actually do much cooling. Like the overall base will still be quite warm. We'll need to run some more vents all over the place so that the air conditioner can, quote-unquote, see as many of them as possible. Okay, let's continue adding in more gas. And I'm going to just do this until the sun comes up, basically. And then I think we're going to go on a mining trip.
3 hours later.
Okay, beautiful. We've done it. We now have an active air conditioner with a nice pressurized coolant line, which is currently dropping, actually. It's at almost 3 megapascals, and we can push that even further should we want to. But for now, it is stable, and so we don't need to do that. This system is relatively self-regulating. These machines are simple but effective, and I think that with that, we can consider that good enough. I'm going to go get myself ready for a major mining trip, which is going to include building out the space pack, which is something I've wanted to do for a while, so let's get that ready. We just need a little bit of copper, which I do have right here. Thank you. And the space pack is fantastic because it does exactly what the jetpack does, just twice as fast. It is for the low cost of like a couple grams of iron and copper. You go from 3 meters per second max speed, which I can quickly show you. So this is my current jetpack. You can see bottom right, 3 meters per second. If we were to swap this out, I now fly at 5 meters per second. So just about double. It is a pretty significant change for virtually no cost. So should have done that earlier, but hey, we got there in the end. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is prepare myself for a mining trip and then go do that. So I'll see you guys. I'm probably going to come back completely loaded or not at all. Oh, and of course, actually, before we do anything, before I wrap up a single moment, we must do something incredibly important because it is day 35, people. And I'm going to cook my first potato. That is a good sight. But I guess we'll just put them right over there because I have nothing else to do with these. All right, 6 years of mining. See you in a second.
And his name is Jeff.
Oh my God. It's been days out in the desert. The endless black, nothing but the sound of mining drills and ores. But we're home. Oh, we're home, and oh my God, have we got a haul to show off. Damn, boy, we came back thick, let me tell you. Okay, are you ready for this one? Popping open the first mining backpack. We're looking at, you can count it, 300 electrum ready to rock. Sorry, I undershot it. That's 600 electrum pre-mixed and ready to rock. We got 200 solder, which should certainly be enough for a while. You don't use that much. We've got another 200 Invar and 200 Constantin. Just reverse those two. I always get them mixed up. Then we've got 1,200 steel in this backpack and a further 1,200 steel in that backpack. We are absolutely loaded. Our ice pack is kind of just a random assortment of junk, mostly volatiles, because we always seem to need more. And then we've got some oxide and some silicon and some copper sort of overflowing into this one. I actually didn't notice we had some extra slots, so could have got more. Then we've got even more overflow in this pipe, which is in this pipe in this bag. Mostly silicon, gold, and iron, as those were the things we're really focusing on. And then, this is probably the most important bit. We got a bunch of cobalt. This stuff we have not yet seen. It is an incredibly hard material, and it is designed to be used in this game for advanced alloys. Now, we don't have the advanced furnace just yet, so we can't actually build them, but that is going to be something we're going to start working towards shortly. I need to do a little bit more maintenance and automation in the greenhouse, and also, sort of put the base back together. As you can see, it's a little bit screwed at the moment, but shortly after that, we are going to start work on a workshop, because what are we working towards? Well, I would like to get us access to trading pretty soon. In fact, the sooner we have access to trading, the better, and I think my trading network is going to run out this way. In our initial design, we sort of had this cool T-shape. I want to make it more sort of like a cross, because the trading does need a runway, and I think that direction's, it's nice and flat. It's a pretty good place to put the runway. We won't have to do too much terraforming. Then, to the left of it, I will likely place my workshop, and to the right of it, I will likely place my storage. We're going to need some kind of storage. Now, many people did suggest having this sort of very strong shape, right? And it's kind of dark now to see it, but maybe use the silhouette to give you an idea, where we had a long, sort of straight, strong spine to the base, and then on either side, we'd have these large spherical structures, maybe sort of two of them, perhaps, to store all of our important assets and, all the lifeblood of our organization. I can't keep it up. But, I mean, as much as I absolutely adore that idea, I adore that idea. We have kind of done that in every single series, and I think that sponsors might actually have an allergic reaction when they look at our channel at this point. Not that that's ever stopped us, don't get me wrong, but I mean, maybe at some point, if we actually want to make a living off that, we should stop making giant space stations. Okay, regardless, I have to put my body back together. It is actively falling apart at the moment, which is going to require welding in this bit here. And then I'm going to do a bunch of smelting. I'm basically going to process all these ores. It'll take as long as it takes. And then we'll come back when that's done to continue sorting out the greenhouse. But I want this done. We can't continue this game, really, until we've gotten a bunch more resources on hand. So let's just get to it. Girl dinner.
Oh, Dad, let me take my son.
My god, it is day 38. Day 38. It took an entire day to process that previous 2 days worth of mining, which I guess kind of tracks. Right now, we are processing our entire mining backpack, both of them. This is the 2 steel ones that we did earlier. In fact, I've managed to process basically everything. All of our specialized ingots, all of our alloys, rather, is that what they're called, have been processed and placed into here. And right now, kind of the only thing we're really shy on is basic raw resources, but also steel. We're completely and entirely out. But not to worry, in a few seconds we will have 2,500 steel coming our way, nice and hot, which is pretty damn good, if you ask me. So I'm going to take my newfound gains, and I'm going to go inside, and we're going to start, or rather continue working on the base. Before we do anything, I want to see how things held up downstairs. Our batteries are not looking great. We absolutely need to expand power as a matter of priority, but I'm very interested to see how we're doing down here. So we still have no oxygen being built up, but I'm hoping that we've got some oxygen in that pipe, nothing else. I think we're going to be okay. Look, I mean, pressurizing that large space to 101 kPa is difficult, especially now that we're cooling it down. That means we need gas. There's all sorts of considerations. But out of interest, is this saturated yet? Let's have a quick look. No, that is holding. It's holding at negative 4.3 degrees Celsius. Beautiful. So even though we are actively heating up our return gas, it looks like we've actually got enough of it available. And you know what? Just to be sure, we've got so much free nitrogen, let's make use of it, shall we? Turn this on, and let's just pump all that out. And don't worry, I am aware that I am actively dying. I promise I'm doing something about it soon. This is still stable at 50 megapascals. Beautiful. It should never really overpressurize. This thing should keep up. Eventually, we'll have to add some code to turn this bad boy off if it hits like some kind of safety threshold, say like 30 bar. That should be pretty good. But yeah, no, we are maintaining a pretty solid differential. We're processing 20 moles per second. I mean, we don't really have the power. We'll expand power and then we'll push that up. Again, a PID would be the best way to do it, but that's something we can deal with later. Okay, it is up to 88 kilopascals in here, which is pretty good. I'm actually quite happy with that. How much water do we currently have? Not much. So we are absolutely going to need to get our water reclamation set up next. That's the next thing we're working towards. Okay, just in case my O2 line has not been pressurizing, although I really, at this point, really hope it has been, I'm going to fill up my tank one more time before we empty this out. Okay, and that should get us, yes, up to almost 101. Okay, so we're basically there. We can now pick up these pieces, and, well, you know, we're a little bit closer to having a fully pressurized space here. Okay, so let's set this part up next. This is for our waste gas emptying, right? So basically I want to be able to come in here, chuck my waste canister in this little slot, just like that, and we can basically cycle them over, and then it's going to let out all the gas. So we can connect that up now, because that should be pretty straightforward. We're also going to want to put a pipe analyzer here, so we can read the pressure on this line. Although, to be honest, if there's a canister always in here, we'll be able to read the pressure in that canister. So we don't need a pipe analyzer for this line. Okay, that's a cheap way to do things. And we've got the data connection right there. Yeah. So I just need to put a volume pump over here then. Okay, lovely. And we're going to set up some automation so that that thing turns on whenever there's pressure inside the ice crusher. Okay, then we need to get some liquid pipes. We need to do the same thing with a liquid pipe, basically. You're going to come this way, and then you're going to go down, and then you're going to come across, and then you're going to go over. We will build our O2 connection right over there. And that means we should, hypothetically, be able to do this. And we've lost pressure. Crap. Okay, so we have not been pressurizing that line. Well, that's fine. We'll just turn off the greenhouse return, and it'll stop trying to fill this space up with gas. So let's just pop, I guess, that one for now. There we go. That should stop everything from continuing to build. Yeah, and I'll just stick that pipe over there for safekeeping. So we should start seeing stuff flowing into here. You are allegedly still processing. 8.3 megapascal pressure differential. Wow, they've really nerfed the air filters. They used to be so much faster. Okay, we are slowly but surely gaining pressure in there. Lovely. Okay. Well, while that does its thing, I guess I'm going to take off my suit and my helmet so that we can slowly but surely stop being so stinky. Man, I can't wait till we've got a shower. And then I'm going to do some work on all this. And oh, I forgot to get the pipes. Damn it. Never mind. Put it all back on. You're going back outside. Alright, it is day 39, and we are now able to pump water out of this space. I had to do quite a bit of reshuffling. No need to show all of it, right? But, I mean, pretty good start, I think. We still have a ton of crud in each of these lines, so I'm actually going to manually turn all this on now. I don't know how we ended up with liquid NO2 in our pipe network, but it's there. Sure, why not? Sure, why not? Now, we do need to do a bunch of voodoo in order to automate this, but for now, this is actually functional, and we'll do the automation in a second. In order to, actually manage to automate that, we are going to need to put this down and connect it up with some cable, which is in fairly short supply at the moment, I must say. A rather worryingly short supply. I don't seem to have any left. That's how short the supply is. And we are flash out of water as well. Not ideal. Not ideal. Now, there is no water in that pipe, which is incorrect. There should be some. And that is because the ice crusher is currently turned off. So, if we do some of our coding voodoo to this line here, we'll be able to turn it on. However, I am actually going to have to run outside with my very slightly full air tank. What did we get up to? 1.8. Okay, that's going to give me a little bit of time outside. Let's go out there and at least get the cabling wired in. And then we'll figure out the programming. Okay, you have run out of copper. Good. Good. Of all the things I wanted you to run out of, that was the right one. And we've got how many more solar panels as well? Oh, 15 plus 18 solar panels. That is going to do a serious number to our power problems, and that will be something we deal with next time. We have tons of frames. Good. Like, that's probably enough for now. This is all going to go towards our massive expansion that we're going to push for tomorrow. And, I mean, obviously we're going to need sheets to go with that, so you might as well just push it. We've made all those resources. We got to spend them. You need to give me cables. There's 20 there. You need to make, like, 1 million more. Just finish your copper and make some cables. Okay, lovely. I can now turn that on. Okay, time to get programming. And there's a lot to program here. So let's chuck that on the ground. And let's go ahead and hit import. Clear the screen. We start from scratch. Alrighty, there we go. This is our new script, and I hope it's fairly easy to follow. So we have two new variables we're going to work with, the pressure in our waistline and the volume of liquid in our waistline. In order to find these values, we're going to use a new methodology, something we haven't actually used yet, which is, I don't actually know what the correct name for this is, but I always called it batch naming, or batch name addressing. I kind of refer to it as both. What you do is much like the load batch command, which we used for our batteries back in episode 2, was it? I think. In this one, what we're going to do is we're going to load the value from a device with its hash number, just like we've done 1,000 times before. That's the number that's stored over here. Except this time we're going to tell the script to only talk to a device of this type that has the specific name waste tank or ice crusher water analyzer or whatever it is, right? So if we name these devices correctly, it will talk to them. Now, of course, the really interesting detail about this is that you can have multiple devices with that name and it will talk to all of them. It's really, really useful for that. So, for example, if you had a bunch of wall lights and you only wanted to turn half of them on and the other half to not be affected by the script, but you didn't want to have to deal with two different networks, you could just use this system. You could go around and name the ones you want to turn on, a specific name, and the script will only talk to them using this type of function. It's very powerful. It also means that you do not have to use any of the pins on your chip. Okay, anyway, so we've loaded in our pressure in the pipe and we've loaded in the volume. Now, what are we going to do with it? Well, the first thing we're going to do is take our turn on value and set it to 0. The reason I'm doing that is because we do actually use this variable all the way down here in our water bottle filler, and just in case it gets adjusted, I want to make sure that it starts at 0. Then we're going to check if our pressure is above 10 kilopascals, and we're going to check if the volume of liquid in the pipe is above 0.5 liters. If either of those things are true, then we are going to turn on the clear waste function. The reason these aren't just 0 is because you can end up with like floating point errors and things get stupid. This is called hysteresis, and it's just kind of giving yourself a little bit of a buffer. We don't need a vacuum in this pipe, and it's okay if there's a little bit left over. Kind of just makes things smoother. Then let's jump down to the clear waste function and let's run through this sequentially. Okay, so clear waste will start on line 56, and then it will run the first command, which is to turn on the ice crusher. The reason we need to do that is that the ice crusher's internal volume is not accessible to the pumps unless the machine is on. If the machine is off, the valve closes and everything gets trapped inside there. We want to empty it out. So the first thing we're going to do is turn on the ice crusher. The second thing we're going to do is then turn on the pump and the water pump. So the gas pump and the water pump. We turn on everything in one big loop. And then we're going to do something that we haven't done before. So this is two new things in this type of script, which is a nested loop. So clear waste is running, it runs, and then a new loop starts. Now, we're going to wait for a second. Yeah, we're going to yield. This is very important. It's a good idea, by the way, when you're working with pumps to always yield before you address them. It's got something to do with the way the game calculates its ticks. Someone in the comments will be correcting me right now. You can go find your answer down there. Then we're going to load the pressure and volume again. This is the exact same command we used at the top to start this whole process. And then if either of them end up being higher than 0.1 of their respective types of variable, oh my goodness, then we will run the loop again. So let's just go through this. We start the clear waste function, we turn on the ice crusher so we can see its contents. We turn on both pumps so that we start emptying out those contents. Then we want to turn those pumps off when that stops being the case, when their pipes are empty. So we run into the drain loop. We wait for a little bit, and then we check the pressure and volume again. We continue to go down the list, and then over here, if the volume in the pipe is above 0.1, we start the loop again, and we run down. If the pressure in the pipe is above 0.1, we start the loop again, and we run down. And basically all that means is that the machines stay on until such time as both of these checks fail, and we manage to make it down here, which turns off both the pumps, and then jumps us all the way back to main. There we go. And so again, like we've seen before 100 times now, we just loop inside this function until such time as we manage to fail our way out, and then we jump back to the start. Now, the only different thing about this is that we are actually using a function within a function, which is, not something we've done before. So just kind of a cool additional way you can script in this game. You don't always have to close out one of these loops with a jump command. You can just let it run. Fun fact. Okay, so let's go ahead and export that data to this chip. We can take it out and place it there, and these pumps should turn themselves on. Lovely. Okay, that is working. And as you can see, we are emptying out the contents of our waste canister and of the ice crusher. Very cool. And we are indeed pumping oxygen into that. Okay, lovely. So I need to actually grab that oxygen tank, and I need to go right now outside and start putting more gas into the system so we can get more liquids in there, because at the moment we are, a little bit thirsty. And so are our potatoes. They have nothing to drink. So with everything working, this should just run. So we've got 5 liters of liquids in there, down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. It is draining. We are golden. And I'm just going to sit here and empty all this out. Rather tragically, our power has run out overnight. We are in fact completely out of juice right now, which is certainly no bueno. In fact, that's so much of a problem that I think we need to immediately pivot from crushing ice and start crushing some electrons. I need to grab as many steel sheets and steel frames as I can manage, and we need to go immediately right now and start building up our solar array. The more we can get in there, the better. Okay, so right now we've got 10 solar panels. We can immediately take that up to almost 20, right, if we just put some in the intermediary spaces. But I think we can also build this out a further 2 tiles over here like so. And honestly, we can even go out another 2 rungs to make it, rather than 8 of these solar panels, we have 10. Yes. And then we'll find a way to encase all of this in a big old steel shell, so that it is storm resistant, because if we have that many solar panels down, I absolutely do not want to have to come out here and repair them every time. That would be beyond miserable. Okay, but I think I'm going to have to really lock in here and get all of this done as quickly as possible, because we are rapidly running out of time. And I need to get all of this in without messing anything up, because we cannot afford any mistakes right now. So I think this might be well within the realm of time-lapse. And I'll see you all once we've got ourselves a solar array and a little housing to keep it in. Pay absolutely no attention to the day counter behind the curtain. It doesn't matter. It can't hurt you if you don't look at it. What can hurt you is the sun. That's right. We need to build a couple of pass-through vents to our beautiful solar house over here, because as the sun shines on the gas there, it will eventually heat up enough to blow the windows off. So it's a good idea to just let the hot air out. But look at this, everybody. We have it. We've finally done it. All of the Type A commenters in the comment section can rest easy, because I've encased our solar panels in a little house. I don't know how many times I've had to read this comment over the past few weeks, but oh my god. So this is the basic structure. As you can see, we still have plenty of space for more solar panels to add. Now, someone did mention that there is actually no loss to placing them inside here. It looks like that's true. I could have sworn there was a time in history where having this bar shine on the panel, causing that stripe, realistically caused their efficiency to go down, but that seems to have been fixed or removed, or it was never the case and I was hallucinating. All of them were equally viable. Now, in order to keep this thing functional, we must keep these doors closed. If those stay open, then it will be treated... actually, it might still be okay. It might still be treated as a room, but I think for safety's sake, just keep it closed. It certainly can't hurt to do so. Okay, what else do I want to do really quickly? Technically is day 41, which is somewhat outside the scope of these episodes, but Mark doesn't know what an episode is. He has never heard of the term. If I were to quickly build up some more solar panels, would it be possible? Ooh, a little bit of gold, a little bit of copper. Ooh, no, can't be done. Can't be done. Yeah, can't be done. Okay, well, we tried. So that is the end of that. I'm pretty dang happy with the progress we made today. We managed to completely renovate our greenhouse. It was, of course, a green hovel and is now a green home. And it is missing a couple of roof tiles, I still see, but beyond that, it's doing great. We have automated our ice crushing as well as our gas refill and extraction, that's really nice to have done. We have the beginnings of, I guess this will become like a bathroom. And I think this big space here is going to be our bedroom. Maybe we could do some like plant genetics in there or something cool. And over here is going to be our little kitchen. But, all of that will expand and grow as the base does. But what we're going to be working towards next time is very decidedly trading. And that is going to happen in this direction. We are going to expand out the footprint of our workshop over here. And we are going to be taking it in this direction, building a runway, going absolutely ape mode with all of it. I'd like to build a conning tower up here. It's going to be so cool. I'm so excited. Do not look at the tool belt in the sky. It doesn't exist. You're crazy. You're seeing things. You're crazy. Thank you all so much for watching. Oh my god, is that another storm? Well, I guess we're spending day 42 inside. Thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you all in the next one. Cheers.